Today I will be analyzing Katerina's speech in Act 5, Scene 2, lines 146 to 164 in Shakespeare's Taming of the Shrew. This speech is at the very end of the play. Caterina, who is speaking at the beginning, was violently opposed to marrying Petruchio, and constantly spoke her mind. Caterina also was very firm in her belief that women should stand up for themselves. But then this speech shows a complete change in her. This soliloquy is a complete reverse of how Caterina felt at the beginning of the play. I think this is I think this speech is very important because it shows that Katerina has been tamed. This speech is also very important because it gives us a glimpse into how women were expected to behave in Shakespeare's time. The entire atmosphere of this section is very serious, as Katerina is lecturing women on how to behave, which is a complete change in Katerina's character. Shakespeare creates this tense and very serious atmosphere by using words such as duty and obedience. This whole section is Katerina, in a way, scolding the women of her time for not bending to the will of their husbands. Shakespeare uses phrases like a foul contending rebel and I am ashamed that women are so simple to make it seem like Katerina is talking down to women, lecturing them on how they should behave. In the first two lines, Shakespeare introduces the themes of duty and power. Thy husband is thy lord, thy life thy keeper, thy head thy sovereign, one that cares for thee. These first two lines spoken by Katerina are very passionate, and she is speaking to all women. When she says, thy head, Shakespeare is suggesting women need to be led, bringing in the theme of power, the power of men over women. This brings in the whole idea that men are more important, more superior to women, which was a common belief in Shakespeare's time. When Katerina says, thy sovereign, Shakespeare further brings in the idea of men having power and authority over women. The lines, one that cares for thee, suggest that women are helpless, that they need to be looked after. These lines are all spoken by Katerina. This is very ironic to have Katerina speaking about duty and obedience, when at the beginning of the play, Katerina was openly opposed to the idea of being under the control of another. Katerina's character changes completely when she speaks this speech. She has been tamed. Katerina attempts to make women feel guilty for not being a perfect wife, and for thy maintenance commits his body to painful labor both by sea and land. In these lines, Katerina is conveying a feeling of guilt, that women should feel guilty that their husbands do so much for them. Katerina pronounces that women need to be looked after. She talks like husbands have the hard job of looking after their wives. When Katerina says, and for thy maintenance, she makes it seem like men are the ones who look after women. By using the words maintenance, Shakespeare generates the feeling that women need to be looked after. Shakespeare creates the appearance that husbands have the hard job. To painful labor by sea and land gives the impression that all men have to work hard to look after their wives. This whole speech is very strange coming from Katerina, who is extremely strong-willed and free-spoken. Katerina then goes on to speak about how easy the wives' lives are, and how difficult the husbands' lives are. To watch the night in storms, the day in cold, whilst thou liest warm at home, secure and safe. The words storm and cold creates the impression that it is hard being a husband, whilst the words warm and safe produces the impression that the woman's job is easy. According to Shakespeare, in his time women just stayed at home all day. Thou liest warm at home. This sentence provides the reader or audience with the understanding that women just spend all their time at home in Shakespeare's era. The way Shakespeare wrote the scene, it is very much like Katerina is angry at all wives for taking their easy, secure lives for granted. Shakespeare continues with the themes of duty and obedience in the lines, and craves no other tribute at thy hand, but love, fair looks, and true obedience, too little payment for so great a debt. Katerina is talking about what a husband wants. Katerina is saying that all that men want is women to be obedient to them, and that women owe it to their husbands to be obedient. In these lines, it really shows how people believed that women should behave in Shakespeare's time. These lines really create a strong feeling that women owe their husbands, that wives are the lucky ones to have a husband. Too little payment for so great a debt. These lines show that Katerina now believes that women owe their husbands, that they are in debt to their husbands who constantly look after them. In these lines, there is a very strong theme of duty. The themes of duty and debt continues in the lines, such duty as the subject owes the prince, even such a woman oweth to her husband. In these lines, Shakespeare is using a metaphor to compare wives and husbands, saying wives are the subjects and husbands are the princes. This is shown in the line, such duty as the subject owes the prince. In this line, Shakespeare is conveying the idea that wives owe their husbands. Shakespeare creates this atmosphere by repeating the word owes. The reader or the audience perceives that in Shakespeare's time, they thought women were left to men. a theme that reappears many times in Taming of the Shrew. This is shown in the line, "Subject owes the prince." This line this line also shows the expectations people had of the duties in marriage, men as the leader or head, which is how Shakespeare described husbands previously, then women as the subject. I think this play gives a real insight into how women were treated in Shakespeare's time and how society expected them to act. Shakespeare continues with the roles of women in the lines, "And when she is forward, peevish, sullen, and sour, and not obedient to his honest will." These lines show how women in Shakespeare's time were expected to serve their husbands. This is shown in the line, "Obedient to his honest will." I think this line really depicts that women were thought only as objects to attend to their husbands. Shakespeare makes these lines very ironic coming from Katharina, because at the beginning of the play she was all of these things. These lines represent some conflict in the play, not from between characters, but instead the inner conflict of Katharina, whether or not she chooses to subject herself to her husband's will. These lines are very important because they truly show the complete change in Katharina's character. Shakespeare uses lots of negative, descriptive words to create the atmosphere that women should not be all of these things, that women should be obedient to their husband's honest will. In these lines, themes of power and obedience are portrayed in the phrase "obedient to his honest will," which both themes are present. Shakespeare continues with the theme of power in the lines, "What is she but a foul contending rebel and graceless traitor to her loving lord?" Once again, Shakespeare uses the metaphor of leadership to show that men were once believed to be superior to women. This is shown in the line, "To her loving lord." This line also shows that husband's role in society was expected to be above the wife's. This line also shows that women were expected to do what men wanted by comparing women to "a foul contending rebel if they did not." Shakespeare uses many negative descriptive words to convey the idea that wives should submit to their husband's will. This line shows the clear twist in Taming of the Shrew, as Katharina, who was speaking, was all of these things to her husband Petruchio. Shakespeare once again continues with the theme of power and duty, but also brings in a new theme of war. "I am ashamed that women are so simple, to offer war when they should kneel for peace." This line compares marriage to war. This is shown in the line, "To offer war." I think it is very fitting that Shakespeare should make Katharina compare marriage to war, because that is what Katharina and Petruchio's marriage was like at the beginning of the play. Katharina refers to women as being simple, which implies that women are, in a way, dull, not as smart as men, which brings in again how society expected women to be like and how they expected men to be like. The theme of obedience is also present in the lines, "Kneel for peace." Katharina is implying that women should bend to the honest will of their husbands. This line sounds very odd coming from Katharina, because at the very beginning of the play she would never kneel to anyone, yet now she is instructing all wives to kneel for their husbands. Shakespeare further elaborates on the theme of obedience and duty in the lines, "Or seek for rule, supremacy, and sway, when they are bound to serve, love, and obey." This line, these lines are very true to how society in Shakespeare's era expected women to kneel to their husbands, as Shakespeare said. The line "bound to serve" shows that women were thought of as objects, as servants, only there for the purpose of subjecting themselves to their husband's will. The whole idea of duty is very strong in these lines. Shakespeare creates this theme of duty by using the word "bound." Once again, Shakespeare uses the idea of men being superior to women by saying that women should not "seek for rule, supremacy, and sway." This line shows the firm belief of the people in Shakespeare's era that men were the head of the house. I find it very interesting how Shakespeare uses the words "rule" and "supremacy," because once again they refer to men being royalty, which links them with the previous lines, "Subject owes the prince." The metaphor Shakespeare uses of men being royalty and as women being subjects truly reflect on the roles of women and men in Shakespeare's time. I think the soliloquy that Katharina delivers is very passionate and strong. It really shows the roles of men and women in society. This speech shows the change in Katharina and how different she is once she married Petruchio and how he tamed her.